Scroll Patrol.
Scroll Patrol.
Okay, so this is a video that Jeremy hasn't seen that I have sourced from the internet. And he's going to click on it. He's going to react to it. And he's going to tell us what he thinks. So, Jeremy, go ahead and click on that link. Watch this video, and then let's talk about it.
Here we go. I have not seen this before. Clicking play.
How do billionaires not pay taxes? Well, it's because they don't make money. At least not the kind the IRS taxes. Take Mark Zuckerberg, for example. He's the CEO of Meta, a multi-billion-dollar company, but as an employee, he only gets paid a $1 a year salary because his main form of payment is getting shares of Meta, the company he owns. And as long as he doesn't sell his shares, he doesn't have to pay taxes on them because the government only taxes you when you sell something and make a profit. Now, here's the crazier part. Instead of selling the stock and paying taxes, he borrows money using that stock as collateral. So he basically goes to the bank and tells them, hey, I have billions of dollars in Meta stocks, so can you loan me $1 million? And the bank obviously says, sure, take $1 million. We know you're gonna pay it back. And that borrowed money isn't taxed because it's a loan, which is not income. Put simply, billionaires live off of borrowed money.
That's a very well edited video. I don't know this creator. She seems like she did a good job. You know, the essence of what she's saying is mostly true. I do believe that's correct that Mark Zuckerberg has a $1 salary. If you asked him why, he wouldn't say it's because it's some anti-tax paying scheme. He would say, because I have enough cash and I want to like strictly tie my financial outcome to the shareholders' financial outcome, which is what business people say when they are looking out for shareholder value. And what she said about loans is maybe partially true, but I think she kind of left out the last step, which is, you know, in her fictitious view of the world there, her example view of the world, you know, he gets paid $1 and has all his stock and then he borrows money from the stock and then never pays any tax whatsoever. But then the thing about banks giving out $1 million loans is they want to get paid back. And she had mentioned, like, how does he make those payments? If you borrow $1 million, as anyone knows who's bought a home in Southern California, you got to start paying, you know, $10,000 a month or whatever it is, or $20,000 a month. And his $1 salary wouldn't cover that. And so at some point, he has to pay back that loan. I do think that this strategy she's describing, you know, I think it varies. We talked about this with Elon Musk in a recent episode where, you know, people might say Elon Musk never pays any tax. But when Elon Musk bought Twitter, he didn't just borrow $20 billion from a bank and say, I'm good for it. He sold $20 billion worth of his Tesla stock. And he paid tax on that. You know, the government fully publicly disclosed, paid probably billions in taxes. And so, you know,
he can afford it.
Right. And I do think Zuckerberg has used loans to, you know, leverage his stock. But I think if you ask them, they would probably say, it's not because I'm really trying to avoid capital gains tax. It's because I actually want to keep invested. I think I can actually make more money by keeping my money invested and just, you know, use this loan as a collateral for a while until I eventually sell the shares. You know, I'm reacting in real time, so I, you know, don't have time to go look up. But if you go look up Mark Zuckerberg's public transactions, I can almost guarantee he sells stock. That's where he gets his money. So, and he pays tax on it. So, you know, I think that this is kind of one of these like partially true clickbaity videos where, yeah, for sure, a lot of CEOs have small paychecks. Yeah, for sure, they might take loans against their assets, but I think they're also probably paying a lot of tax. Are they paying enough in tax? No, I mean, don't get me started, because also, by the way, if you know, when Elon Musk paid tax on his shares, he sold $20 billion. Those are long-term capital gains. So he's capped at 20% federal tax.
What?
Whereas if you're a doctor who goes doing surgery every day to, you know, make a living and save people's lives, your income is not capped at 20%. It's capped at, I think, 39.3% or something right now. And so you literally, doctors who like work for a living pay more in taxes, double the rate that billionaires pay. And so, you know, Warren Buffett always talks about this, where his tax rate's actually lower than his secretary's because he's making money, whereas money makes money, and the secretary is making earned income. That's like, yeah, that's.
I did not know that. I didn't know there was a 20% cap.
Yeah, and it's 15%. It's only 20% in like really high income. Actually, it used to be 15%. And they for really high income they did 20%. And I think it's like this dirty little secret of rich people, which is you pay lower tax rates on making money than you do on earned income. And it's always this like left versus right thing, and everyone's like, oh, the left wants higher taxes. I'm like, well, I think as a baseline, why are people who work for a living paying more taxes than people who make money for a living? And by the way, I'm in the latter camp now. Most of my money is making money. Like my salary is pretty low.
And just as bad as Elon.
Yeah, exactly. Except mine is about 9 zeros at the end of that. But it would hurt me to pay more on capital gains tax because that's how I get a lot of my income, by selling things at a gain now. But still, like I'm like living this like fantasy life of like running podcasts and doing whatever I want. If I went back and worked for a living at a tech company, like writing software, like I've been trained to do, it would suck to go pay a higher tax rate for that, right? So I feel like those could be the same. So yeah, for her, like I think all these things are like mostly true in a vacuum. I don't think it's like completely true in terms of what billionaires are actually doing completely, but the essence of billionaires should be taxed more is probably true. I'd give this one a B minus.
Okay.
Yeah, B minus.
Oh, and I love that you said you're living this fantasy life of making podcasts. That's just so sweet. That's just so endearing.
Isn't that what we all want to do, is just go make a podcast and not have like any sort of real job?
That is lovely. Okay.